Hey, welcome back to another online lesson. Today we're going to be talking about finding the area of composite figures. Just two quick vocabulary that we need to get down. First is, what is a two-dimensional figure? Well, a two-dimensional figure has height and length. For example, this triangle here is a two-dimensional figure. Squares are also two-dimensional figures. And I could go on and on with rectangles and parallelograms. Well, those are all two-dimensional figures. But we're going to focus on composite figures. And what a composite figure is, it's just two or more two-dimensional figures put together. For example, if I have a rectangle and a triangle, that's a two-dimensional figure. I'm sorry, that's two two-dimensional figures, which make it a composite figure. I could have a square and another square. Composite figures. It's just more than one two-dimensional figure. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to find the area of some composite figures. Let's get started. All right, here I have a composite figure. I can look right away and I can see two two-dimensional figures. Can you point them out? I hope you can. Okay, here's the first one. This one is a rectangle. See? Here is my rectangle. But there's another two-dimensional figure. Boom, the triangle over here. And I'm just outlining so you can see that it's just two figures put together. Okay, easy enough, but finding the area can sometimes be a little bit tricky. You have to do it step by step. It's almost like you're a detective and you have to figure out some missing pieces. So let's get started. First shape I have is my rectangle. So what we have to do is we have to find the area of the rectangle. So I see area of the rectangle. Height times the base. Area equals base times height. Okay, let's just fill it in. My base is 8 times my height of 3 equals 24 feet. 24 feet squared. That is the area of my rectangle. Cool. But we still have this little piece to do. That has to be included. So how do we find that? Well, we know the area of the triangle. Area equals base times height divided by 2. All right, we got that part down, but let's fill in the missing pieces. So let's see. Base. Uh-oh. The base of my triangle isn't there. I just have this 12-foot base. That's the whole thing. We don't need this section. We just need to know what that section is. This is where you kind of got to be a detective, okay? No, we don't know what this piece is. But do we know what this piece is? I mentioned it was a rectangle. And because this piece is the same as this piece, I know that from here to here has got to be 8 feet. Great, but how does that help us over here? Well, think about it. If this part is 8 feet, this whole thing is 12 feet. So how much must this little part be? Well, 12 minus 8. And 12 minus 8 is 4 feet. Okay, so we have the base of the triangle down. Remember triangles, base times height divided by 2. So what's the height? Hopefully some of you are thinking, well, Mr. Gohane, it's a rectangle, so just look at the opposite side. And I'll do that. Go over here. The opposite side is 3. So if that is 3, this side also must be 3 feet. Perfect. Now we have the information, plug it into our formula, and let's see what we get. The area of a triangle is base, which is 4, times 3, perfect, divided by 2. Let's do it. 4 times 3 is 12, divided by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6 feet squared. 6 feet squared. Okay, cool. So I know my rectangle part is 24 feet squared. My triangle part is 6 feet squared. How do we do it? Put them together. 24 feet plus 6 feet equals 30 feet squared. And my area is total of 30 feet squared. So really that's what you have to do with composite figures. You have to look at it and say, okay, what shapes do I see? And then you have to use the information given. Figure out the area of the individual shapes, add them up, and boom, there's your area of a composite figure. Now let me show you another example. Hey guys, welcome back. There was one more I have to show you, and it's what's called overlapping sections, and figuring out the area of two-dimensional shapes that overlap. Let's look at it. First you can kind of look, I have a square and a rectangle, and they're overlapping in this section right here. Our job is going to be to figure out what the area of this whole thing is. So step one, let's break it up into pieces, see if there's anything we recognize. Well, let's start up here. So let's find the area of the first square, which we'll call this one. I see a base of 12, and I see a length of 12. So it's going to be 12 times 12 to make it 144 centimeters squared. So this whole thing here is 144 centimeters squared. Why? Because 12 times 12 is 144. Excellent. So let's now find the area of the yellow rectangle. Here I have 12 times 15. Simple enough. So the area of the second rectangle is 12 times 15. You could do the notes off to the side. You could use a calculator. 12 times 15, if we do it, we get 180 centimeters squared. And remember, that's for this whole entire thing, though. We don't need this whole thing because this part overlaps. And right now, if we were to add 180 centimeters squared plus 144 centimeters squared, it will be incorrect because we'd be counting this area. We don't want to count that area twice. So now what we need to do is figure out what in the world is the area of this. Well, let's do it. We kind of got to be a little bit of a detective because if we look, I don't see any of the dimensions, and we need to multiply base times height in order to figure out the area. So looking around, we're going to have to use some of these other numbers to help us figure out what the base and what the height is. So let's start here. How do I figure out the height of this shape? Well, let's look at what we have. If I continue all the way up, I know that from here to here is going to be 6 centimeters. So how long is it from here to here? Well, let's look at the opposite side. And if we move to the opposite side, we see that, that the whole thing is 12 centimeters. So if that whole line is 12 centimeters, how much is that missing line? Well, let's look. We have a clue. And the clue says that from here to here is 6 centimeters. So if that's 6, That piece there is missing. We need it to total 12. So 6 plus what equals 12? 6. You're right. We now figure out that it's 6 centimeters. Congratulate yourself. You did a great job. Okay. So we have that part down. Now we got this part right here. So let's look. Here to here, I have no idea how much that is. I look up here, I don't know how much that is either. But if I shift over here, ooh, I see how much that is. So I look, we don't know what that is. We got to figure it out. So if that part's 8, that part's missing. Let's look at the opposite side. And if I slide down and look at the opposite side, ooh, I notice that that's 15. So if that part's 8, we don't know what that is, but that whole thing has got to be 15. 8 plus what equals 15? I hope you know your facts. 8 plus, ding, 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 7 is correct. 7 centimeters. Now, do you see how that makes sense? 7 plus 8 equals 15. So we'd have the same sides being even. Here I have 6, and we know that would be 6. But 6 plus 6 equals this far 12. Now this is going to help us out a lot. So 7, remember the area, equals base times height. In this case, area equals 7 times 6. And 7 times 6, of course, is 42. So the area is 42 centimeters squared. Okay. So I have 144, I have 80, and I have 42. Well, let's solve. First, we have to come up with the total. The total for both of these is going to be 144 plus 180. And 0 plus 4 is 4. 8 plus 4 is 12. Carry the 1. 1, 2, 3. 324 centimeters squared. Okay. With that, we have to subtract. We have to subtract this middle area. So the area is 324 minus 42. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 to 1. 12 minus 4 is 8. Bring down the 2. We are at 282 centimeters squared. That is my new area. Remember, find one shape, find another shape, find what's in the middle, add, subtract. I'm going to give you a chance to practice. Here I have a composite shape. I want you to try this one on your own. First, take a look at it. Excellent. Ask yourself, what shapes do I see? Hopefully you see two shapes. Hint, rectangle. And another shape, hint, triangle. So remember, find the area of one, find the area of the other, add them together. Now you are going to have to be a detective. For example, like look at this. We don't know what the base of the triangle is. You're going to have to figure out what the base is. Here's another hint. Look at the opposite sides. The opposite side is 12. What's missing? Okay. Next, I'm going to give you one of these. Here you have two rectangles. Figure out the area of one, figure out the area of the other, and then figure out the area of the square right in the middle here. Again, you're going to have to use different numbers here. You're kind of going to have to be a detective. This is how we're going to start class tomorrow. We're going to go over these two shapes. Good luck. Try your best. We'll see you in class tomorrow.